Get ready with me while I talk about my spiritual awakening.
On April 25th of 2020, I realized I was God. That was also the same day I unknowingly conceived my daughter, but we'll circle back to that. So here I was, sitting in bed next to my then partner, 3 days no sleep, but feeling oddly invigorated. We were 1 month into lockdown after the first COVID outbreak, and I was feeling pretty lackadaisical about life. At the time, I was working from home as a full-time architect. I had my own place. I had recently adopted a stray cat. And from the outside, I guess you could say it looked like I had my shit together. But I'd be lying if I said that I was completely happy, even though I was genuinely appreciative of the things that I had accomplished in my life up until that point in time. During that time, I was in an open relationship with my then formal partner, but I was also seeing somebody else casually, but I was equally emotionally invested in this person as well. So that night, while sitting in bed, I came clean to this person and professed my true feelings for them, and unfortunately, I got met with indifference. Essentially, he said that he was no longer looking to be a part of my life in any way, shape, or form. So I cut my losses, I put my phone down, and went to bed with a partner who was actually committed to me. And I was fully determined to get some sleep. But instead what happened is I lay awake in silent darkness, and in the span of what could have been 30 minutes or 30 seconds for as far as I'm concerned, I became aware that I was the entirety of everything that ever existed. All right, now hear me out. I was still conscious that I occupied a body and that body occupied a physical location in space at a specific point in time. But I came to understand that that was only a teeny tiny fraction of what I truly was in essence. In that moment, everything was absolutely peaceful, and I experienced the perfection of the cosmic game that we call existence. Now, I wish I could have witnessed what was taking place chemically inside my brain at that moment, but from my years of research, I can assume that what was happening is that my brain waves were oscillating at this frequency called gamma, which is essentially the speed at which the brains of Buddhist monks move when they're in deep meditation. It's also the same speed at which your brain vibrates when you're having a schizophrenic seizure. The only distinction is that the monk's brain has every quadrant of his brain firing holistically, whereas the schizophrenic's brain is misfiring incoherently, which is what leads to grand delusions like sightings of biblically accurate angels and, everything that ensued after the writing of Mein Kampf. Yeah. Now, when I'm talking about the quadrants of the brain, I'm referring to the forebrain and the hindbrain, meaning the cortices and the amygdalae of the left and right brain hemispheres. The cortex is responsible for processing logic and rational thought, while the amygdala is responsible for processing emotion. But the left and right hemispheres work separately from one another as their own individual processors. The left being linear, meaning it processes time as past and future, and the right processes everything as one giant agglomeration taking place simultaneously in the present. So where your left hemisphere can help you understand things like language and history and can help you distinguish your own physical body as separate from the clouds above you and the floor beneath you, the right hemisphere just perceives everything as a collection of atoms and molecules floating in space and having no definitive edge. So when every part of your brain is working together collectively at hyper speed, you essentially meet God as yourself and everything around you. All right, sit tight though, because this is getting a little bit lengthy and I'm gonna make a part 2.